the Fort of the Damned, the center of attention in any Sea of Thieves server you load into. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can complete them in under 10 minutes time. Seen by some as a difficult challenge in the Sea of Thieves, using some of the tips in this video, hopefully this player controlled event will become that little bit easier, and maybe you'll be able to complete it in under 10 minutes if you do master it. So before we get into the video, I just want to let you know, if you are interested, I give away serpent sales frequently over on Twitch. You can find that linked at the top of the description. And if you do want to see me complete some Fort of the Damned in its entirety without any cut edits, then hey, that's the place to do it. twitch.tv/Synn. But anyway, with Fort of the Damned being so easily accessible in this day and age, all you need to do is simply get yourself a Skull of Destiny Voyage, and then you're good to go. And to make this even easier, you'd want to get some supplies from the outpost you spawn on, the islands around you, or even some tridents too, as they can greatly shorten the total completion time. The items you're going to need to make this a lot easier are firebombs, food, and blunderbombs. Having a storage crate with them will set you up really well. You can effectively grab these supplies by looting islands as you are grabbing your Skull of Destiny Voyage, or while heading over to the Fort of the Damned as well. The weapons you use at the Fort of the Damned will make a drastic difference too. You're going to want a flintlock and eye of reach, or flintlock and sword if you do prefer that maneuverability. The reason you'll want a flintlock is fairly simple. They are the key element to completing Fort of the Damned effectively. Every skeleton, aside from the captains and the final Grey Marrow boss, will be, without a doubt, a one-shot kill. The Eye of Reach is useful for the same thing, but gives you that added range if you are looking to stop a skeleton with a keg or detonate a keg from a distance. Swapping it with a sword is effective as well. It is slower to defeat the skeletons, but gives you that added maneuverability, as I said. If you aren't particularly confident with any of these weapons, you can actually use this as a useful training tool as well. As I would say personally, the Fort of the Damned is one of the least harder things to do in the Sea of Thieves, and it is a really good training ground for practicing different weapons. With knowledge in the weapons you choose and supplies, you will be able to effectively complete a Fort of the Damned in a short amount of time. The method will be fairly simple while doing this. Get the storage crate if you did get one with your supplies in it towards the middle of the fort, i.e. the main spawn room. Or alternatively, if you didn't get a storage crate, you will notice that the main fort room does have an abundance of barrels that does have food and other supplies in there as well. Then light up the flames, put the skull in, and get ready to go to work. A key element of the Fort of the Damned is knowing what light to have on you at any given time, and this is simplified drastically by realizing that when you do have a skeleton wave that is a specific color, the lantern that correlates to that color will be lit up and have glowing ghost arms underneath it. When the skeletons spawn, they'll spawn in one of two locations, either side out the front of the fort or in the center of the main room where you will be standing. If they do spawn in the center room that you are standing, you can avoid most attacks by running a circle within the main room, lighting up the skeletons, and taking pot shots or swings when you do have a skeleton that comes into your line of sight. You can also use one well-placed firebomb to completely clear the wave, assuming you are lucky enough. If they spawn either side of the main fort, this is significantly easier, as you can just simply firebomb the door and light the skeletons as they walk in, effectively clearing the round without having to fire a single shot. If they do hybrid spawn, which is where they spawn in the middle and out on either side, you can use the same methods here. Just do whatever is more comfortable. I find it more effective to firebomb the doors as they walk through and use my flintlock to take out the skeletons within the actual main fort room. Eventually though, skeletons are going to start spawning with kegs, and honestly, mishaps can happen. If you're not too careful, you can find yourself getting exploded and messing things up drastically. However, you can aim for the feet of the skeleton with the keg, and that will effectively dismember the skeleton while keeping the unused keg in perfect condition. Alternatively, if you don't want to save regular kegs, you can just simply light up the skeletons, shoot a keg, and clear a wave quite simply. Keeping a reserve of kegs is really only essential when you do get the final mega kegs. Ideally, you do want to keep those kegs intact, but look, honestly, sometimes things just happen. And hey, if the keg does blow up, it does make it a little bit longer, but also isn't the end of the world either. However, the reason you want to reserve those kegs is they are greatly effective in defeating Grey Marrow. And you will notice these mega kegs will only spawn on the second to last wave, so reserving them shouldn't be too difficult. Either way though, after getting to the final Grey Marrow wave, that's where you want to utilize the kegs if you have them, and the tridents if you have them too. And honestly, this step isn't that daunting. The Fort of the Damned does scale based on the amount of people on there, between 1 to 4 players, but assuming you are solo like I was in this video, 2 full trident uses will easily defeat Grey Marrow. And depending on the amount of kegs you've reserved as well, you could easily defeat between 1/4 to half of his health with the single use of kegs. Again though, this does fluctuate depending on your crew size and whether or not you've got these items with you. Alternatively, there is a couple effective methods you can use to defeating Grey Marrow. First of all, you have the cannonball strategy. Now this does chew through supplies, so I'd only recommend it if you do have a surplus of cannons, but you can easily guide Grey Marrow down to the bottom and start using your cannons to fire at him to easily deplete his health. Alternatively, you have the preferred method and the method I'm showcasing in this video, and that is the simple firebomb, blunderbomb, train and shoot strategy. Doing this is effective, good on supplies, and won't take you too long. All in all though, once you have defeated Grey Marrow, you're going to notice that's it for the Fort of the Damned. While trying this method out for the first time, don't expect to be able to master it and complete it within 10 minutes, but when you do master it and get into that flow, completing this player activated world event will be easily obtainable in under 10 minutes. Let alone completing rounds in under 20 seconds will be a frequent occurrence, as you've seen a few times in this video. But even if you do find yourself not wanting to practice this method until you can complete the Fort of the Damned in a really short amount of time, you can still use the tips in this video to drastically cut down your total completion time. And again, if you do want to see things like this in action in a real situation, feel free to check me out on Twitch, as I do stream Fort of the Damned fairly frequently, as of recent anyway, at least. And you can also earn yourself some giveaways while you are there too. If you do currently use a different method to complete the Fort of the Damned, let me know down in the comments section, as I'd love to hear it, and I'm sure a few other people would too. But hey, that's all for the video. Hopefully you guys learned something new, and if you do want to see content like this, I've posted a bunch on my channel, and there's a bunch more to come as well. So feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.